So somebody requested that I do a video about how we're basically being led into a war by Israel. Us as in the United States of America, us as in the country of the United States of America, is being led into a war by Israel due to the fact that Israel's neighbors are hammering it with weapons at this point because they've gotten fed up with the way that Israel treats their neighbors. People might notice I don't make too many videos about what people call the Jewish question. And the reason why is because I like having a YouTube channel. Videos I have made that had nothing but links to news stations, Fox News, ABC News, NBC News, etc., to show certain things about the Jewish community. They were taken down immediately. And I'm probably one of the least anti-Semitic people, especially when it comes to nationalists, U.S. nationalists. I'm probably one of the least anti-Semitic people. For true U.S. nationalists, I'm not talking about Zionists pretending to be U.S. nationalists. I'm talking about actual U.S. nationalists that believe in putting America first before everyone else, including Israel, okay? So the point that I would make is this is not something that just started now, but what people need to understand is for any conservatives watching, anyone that's a conservative, a person that thinks they're conservative, thinks they care about America, thinks they're patriotic, they need to take into consideration, and this is not a video about the Jewish question, this is a video about Israel. And this is what's important to understand. Israel and Zionism are not the Jewish people and are not Judaism, despite how much Zionism tries to portray it as such. That's not the case. It just isn't. Okay? The Jews are one thing and Zionists are another. In fact, Zionism was not even universally accepted by, and it still isn't universally accepted by the Jewish people. There are many Jews that are bitterly opposed to Zionism because it goes against the religious teachings of Judaism. Okay? So that's a true statement there. I'm not making it up. That there are a number of Jews that are bitterly opposed to Israel. Okay? Just facts. Now, Israel is not a friend of the United States. Some of the things Israel has done to the United States include the USS Liberty attack, and I'm going to leave links to all these things. And when this video gets banned and I get a strike against me, people can go, thank you for making a video that cost you your YouTube channel. But the USS Liberty attack is when Israel attacked the United States and tried to blame it on Egypt. Okay? The Lavon affair was when Israeli special forces committed a terrorist action against U.S. civilians in Egypt. Okay? That's number two. The Jonathan Pollard fiasco was when a Jewish Israeli spy, an American Israeli spy, with dual loyalty, well, not really dual loyalty, loyalty to Israel, not the United States, stole information from the United States and was seen by the Jewish head of the Central Intelligence Agency under George W. Bush as the most dangerous person toward U.S. national security in the history of the United States of America. More dangerous than the Soviets, more dangerous than the Nazis, more dangerous than the Iranians. It was an Israeli spy, Jonathan Pollard. Okay? So we have the USS Liberty attack, the Lavon affair, and we have Jonathan Pollard. We also have a U.S. civilian that was, I believe it was in Gaza, that was murdered by an Israeli person driving a bulldozer to knock down homes on the Gaza Strip. We have former U.S. Representative Cynthia McKinney being put in prison by the Israelis while she was trying to get crayons and other supplies to Palestinians, and she was basically refused contact with the U.S. Embassy. Okay, these are not the behaviors of an ally. Okay, you don't see the United States attacking Germany or Japan. Well, now, but you know what I mean. Germany or Japan, now that we're allies, or Britain, or any countries we're allied with. You don't see the United States attacking one country like we don't attack Germany and then go, hey, Germany, those damn French are out to get you. It was the French. That's not the behavior of allies. It's not. Okay? That's the behavior of people that are attempting to basically make war through lies. That's what people are dealing with. Now, are we going to end up in a war with Iran? I certainly hope not. But let's talk about this. A lot of Trump-tards, a lot of Trump-publicans. They're like, oh, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are like boyfriends. They love each other. Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are best buddies. We have such good relations with Russia because of Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. No. No, we don't, okay? Vladimir Putin violated the Monroe Doctrine, which states that the United States states to all old world powers, don't screw with the Americas. Okay? Basically, that's it. Okay, so Putin tells Trump, do not back off. You better back off of Venezuela. So Donald Trump backs off of Venezuela. But he goddamn near starts World War III by attacking Syria, who shot down an Israeli fighter jet, and then by doing that nonsense where he murdered the Iranian general. Illegally murdered the Iranian general. So it's what it is Trump, let's put it in terms we can understand here. Venezuela doesn't matter to Donald Trump because they're just people that he doesn't care for. We know Donald Trump's view towards people from that part of the world. Iran, which is a relatively normal country, people might go, oh, well, it's an Islamo-fascist, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Well, in reality, and I'm not saying I do think that there should be more diplomatic efforts and maybe even some type of action taken with Venezuela, because Venezuela, you can't have a country like that in your backyard. Okay? Especially that's this allied with a potential enemy like Russia who could put God knows what in Venezuela. Like what happened with Cuba. In Cuba! We could have a repeat of Cuba! Okay? But the thing is, in Iran is a relatively normal country. People like to say, it's a violent country, it's a radical country, it's this, it's that. Compare the state of Iran and the Iranian people to the state of Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. Okay. Iran is not a threat to the United States, but it could be. Venezuela basically is not a threat to the United States. The only way Venezuela could be a threat to the United States is through the intervention of a third party like Russia, who we agitated by screwing with their allies Iran and Syria. So what my point is Trump doesn't care about the Venezuelan people, but he will do the bidding of his Zionist masters. As we remember from Benjamin Netanyahu's lovely reminiscing about his times with young Jared Kushner. Okay, we understand what's going on there. Trump was a Zionist, not a U.S. nationalist. But the fact of the matter is, while most presidents, and this is the thing, I'm not worried under Biden. I think Biden is like Clinton, is like a bunch of them. They will pay lip service to the Zionists. They will give money to the Zionists, which as much as we don't like it, that's what's going to happen. But they're not going to do anything radical. Okay? Remember that. When Bill Clinton was in office, we didn't go to any wars for the Zionists, did we? No, we went to wars for a bunch of loony Muslims in Serbia, in Yugoslavia. Okay? Now, what you need to understand is Israel, again, not a friend of the United States, is a rogue nuclear state. Look at all the trouble we try to cause with North Korea because they're a rogue nuclear state. Think about that. Israel's a rogue nuclear state. Israel, now this is the thing, people might not like me. People know, I'm a fan of the Afrikaners. I'm for apartheid. You know who else was for apartheid? Israel. Israel worked to help Pretoria work on its nuclear weapons program. Okay? That's the truth. Israel, the Israeli citizens of South Africa supported apartheid. Okay? Now, in all fairness, I support apartheid South Africa. But what's funny is many liberals like to compare what's going on in Israel with the Arabs to Jim Crow and apartheid South Africa. Let me put it to you in these terms. Separation is a lot different than slaughter. What's going on in Israel is basically the slaughter of the people that live there, the Palestinian people. It's the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. As I've said, I put America first. I don't think that's any of our business. I don't think the issue with the Serbians and the Albanian Muslims, I don't think that was any of our business. I don't think anything in Iraq was any of our business. And then people will go, but the Jews are a people that require a homeland. And Israel is that homeland. Funny, because Israel's kicking out thousands of black Jews that Biden is taking in as refugees, probably to screw up the election results in this country by bringing in more obvious Democratic voters. Okay, black Jews, probably Democratic voters. Who's bringing them in? Biden. But, funny thing, the Jewish homeland that only takes in Jews that meet a certain criteria. Got it? They don't want Jews there. Now remember, a lot of people like to say that the Jews are a race. The Jews are not a race. The Jews are a multiracial group of people that are genetically related to one another, but they're not phenotypically similar. There's Thai Jews, there's Chinese Jews, there's East Indian Jews, there's Ashkenazi Jews, which are, the most Caucasoid, like the most white of them all. And then you have Arab Jews, the Mizraim Jews, the Sephardic Jews. Jews come in many different shapes, sizes, colors, whatever. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. But the fact of the matter is, certain Jews don't fit into the Jewish homeland, according to Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel. Even more importantly, I think, is to consider that the Jews were already given a homeland by Russia. The USSR gave the Jews the Jewish Autonomous Oblast. Look it up. Nobody looks up anything I'm saying. So, out of all of the people in the world, mind you, everyone's allowed to have a homeland, except for everyone that isn't Jewish. Think about it. Think about it. What group of people actually has a homeland? Do the Romani people have a homeland? No. Does any specific group of white people have a homeland? Nope. What I mean by a homeland is a monoethnic region of the world that is unique and only populated by them. The Romani don't have a homeland, the Kurds don't have a homeland, even the Arabs don't necessarily have a homeland. No specific group of white people has a homeland. I guess you could say the Catholic Church has a homeland because of Vatican City, but I mean that. So you're down to the Vatican and the Jews. They're the only two groups of people that have a homeland. Okay, no other group, not the Zulu, not the Romani, not the Kurds, not the Germans, not the English. And I know you're saying, well, what about England? What about Holland? What about Germany? What about... Look at England, look at Holland, look at Germany, look at France. Do they look like a mono-ethnic homeland for one specific group of people? No, they don't. Okay? There's only one group of people in the whole world that has been allowed to have a homeland. Okay? So consider that. And a lot of stupid white people have this idea that if they support Israel, if they support the idea that the Jews have a homeland, maybe the Jews will support the idea that white people deserve a homeland. They don't, they won't, and they're not doing it. Okay? Not gonna happen, never gonna happen, doesn't happen, ain't happening. Okay? So get over it. Get over it. Bowing to an alien power is not going to get that alien power to agree with you. It just isn't going to happen. And I don't even promote the concept of a mono-ethnic homeland anymore. I never really did because I think it's really stupid. I really do think it's a stupid idea because I don't think it's necessary for Americans, like white Americans, to thrive. We don't need a mono-ethnic region to thrive. We never really had one. I mean, we always shared America with some other group of people. At one time, it was, mostly just blacks and Native Americans. But, I mean, white Americans do not need a mono-ethnic homeland to thrive. That's the truth. We do need the ability to self-segregate, which should be an individual human right. You should have the human right to associate with whoever you want to associate with without the government making you associate with certain groups of people. And that used to be okay. I don't, that's just, that's my opinion. But the fact of the matter is, do I think we're going to end up going to war with Iran? No. The reason I say no is because Trump tried to start a war with Iran. He tried so hard to start a war with Iran, we didn't go to war with Iran. Okay? So take that into consideration. I don't think we're going to war with Iran. I don't think, however, if we get a Republican president next time, a Zionist Republican president, that could be a different story. So keep that in mind. That's the one thing that people need to keep an eye out for. Who will the next president be? Is it going to be some crazy kook like George W. Bush? Which I'm not against George W. Bush, but when George W. Bush's father, George H.W. Bush, told him not to go into Iraq, and George W. Bush responded and said, "I obey a higher power." I don't think he was talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. I think he was talking about the Lord Zion. Okay? So that's what I think was going on there. It wasn't the Lord Jesus Christ. I think it was Zion. So, before this video gets canceled, if you made it this far, congratulations. Follow the links in the description, and this video will probably be gone next week, at the latest.